Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Did you miss me? I guess not.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Delusions of Grandeur with What's in My Room. And I'd like to show you some more pickups that I have here. And I'm just going through them stack by stack because I've stacked them up during this pandemic. And the first one I wanted to show you was one that I picked up from Big Lots. It stars Clyde Beatty, Mickey Spillane, and Pat O'Brien in Ring of Fear. This is a Paramount home entertainment film directed by James Edward Grant. Terror takes the center ring under the big top in this suspense thriller from John Wayne's Batjack production company. After escaping from a mental institution, a homicidal maniac named Dublin O'Malley, played by Sean McClory, integrates himself among comfortable, familiar surroundings of the past, the famed Clyde Beatty Circus, when a series of accidents and close calls threaten to wreck the show. Owner and trainer Clyde Beatty, playing himself, and circus manager Frank Wallace, Pat O'Brien, decide to call in crime expert and celebrated detective novelist Mickey Spillane to help solve the mystery. Spillane's sleuthing uncovers the apparent target of the frightening mayhem. Beautiful aerialist Valerie St. Denis, played by Marion Carr, who has become the obsession of the deranged O'Malley. Amid the roar of the lions and the melodious tones of the calliope comes screams of fear in this taut and exciting drama, Ring of Fear. Alrighty. Next, I have Knight Rider Season 4, the final season, by with David Hasselhoff. I also have Season 3 of Knight Rider, which both of these, my fiance ended up getting a slightly smaller collection of it. I also have Seasons 1 and 2, which I'll show later on. Samurai School, this I got from one of my filmmaking friends, with Tak Sakaguchi. Samurai School says, "Be a man. It's a frickin' hilarious, utterly ridiculous, yes, but hilarious." Put out by Tokyo Shock. And I guess It's directed by Sakaguchi. Between hundreds of push-ups, hot oil baths, and being locked in jail cells, the new students have a lot to deal with before they can even think of kicking back and relaxing. And when a rival school is out to cause some trouble, will true friendship be able to save the day? At a private school that turns boys into true men, grueling training is practically the only thing that you can count on. The samurai school's rules don't usually allow for personal grudges, but the rules don't matter anymore outside the grounds. So here I have Samurai School. Next I have Samurai Chicks, a film by Mari Asato, Girls for Independence. Definitely looks entertaining. Next I have Spooky Encounters, which its director Sammo Hung. Looks entertaining. It's Fortune Star Cam whatever. Next I have The Boondock Saints, the Truth and Justice edition. Includes both the theatrical version and unrated director's cut of the film. The 10th anniversary. From the creator of Ringu is Sodom the Killer. It's directed by Hiroshi Takahashi. Put out by Tokyo Shock. Next, this is a Dollar Tree pickup called Assassin's Target. Has a tagline of Professional, Deadly, Beautiful. It is written and directed by Giles Gambino. Kinobarna presents a film. I guess it has an interview with director Giles Gambino on it. In a time of global terror, a lethal assassin must execute the impossible. Rosa, a master assassin with a knack for poisons, sets out on a search and destroy mission against a spiritual leader, but conflicts within her own organization may spell disaster for her long before she ever closes eyes in on her target. So here I have Assassin's Target. Next, this was a Dollar Tree pickup, which was kind of surprising. This film was a Raven Banner released film. It stars Amy Smart from Crank 1 and 2, Michael Ironside from Turbo Kid, Alfie Allen, and Grace Van Dien from Game of Thrones and Army Dog. It's called Patient 7, with a tagline of Try to Remain Calm. Guess it's works with terror films. Says a renowned psychiatrist has selected 6 severely mentally ill and dangerous patients from the Spring Valley Mental Hospital to interview as part of research for his new book. As he interviews each patient one by one, the horrors they have committed begin to unfold. However, Dr. Marcus soon learns that there is one patient who ties them all together. Patient 7. So this is written by Barry J. Stitch. And looking for the director. It's hard to find the director. I'll have to figure it out. It doesn't look like they actually put the director on here. Produced by, written by, Wraparound, directed by Danny Draven. Okay, so it's got segments written. Okay, so this is an anthology-ish film. So it's got segments directed by Nicholas Peterson, Paul Davis, Omar Orn Hawkson, Dean Hewison, Erlinger Otar Thoroddsen, Joel Morgan, Johannes Persson, and Rasmus Westberg. Next I have, this is another Dollar Tree pickup, and it was cute. It's called Acorns. Operation Crackdown. The team is in place to crack the case. And that's from the producer of Shrek. So it stars the voices of Jason Jones, Will Forte, John Leguizamo, Samantha Bee, Victoria Justice, and John Gleese. Next I have The Devil's Fairground, starring Justin Duncan, Gerald Crumb, Mercedes Peterson. It's directed by Michael Crumb. Put out by ITM Films with NGI Films. The Crumb Brothers. The stars of two competing paranormal television shows converge on an abandoned amusement park, which ends up being the epicenter to hell. Trapped with no way to escape, they find themselves in an all-out war against pure and unrelenting evil. The Devil's Fairground. Next, I have Sci-Fi Pictures Riverworld, which, an enchanted land, a barbaric ruler, a fight for freedom. I'm going to be honest, I liked this one better, but it was supposedly the welcome to the most spectacular afterlife ever, where everyone is reborn young and healthy, including the most vicious and ruthless warriors of all time. This is the wondrous imaginative setting of Riverworld, a mysterious, sultry planet where the past, present, and future must battle together for the precious soul of humanity. When a meteor shower above Earth sends astronaut Jeff Hale to Riverworld, he immediately encounters a powerful warlord named Vladimir, who thunders in with an army and declares himself master, and all newcomer soldiers, workers, or slaves. Now it's up to Hale and the unusual band of allies to fight an ancient Roman emperor and a Viking warlord in order to reach Valdemar, gain their freedom, and secure a future for all mankind. Starring Kevin Smith from TV's Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Xena Warrior Princess in his last performance. Riverworld is an extraordinary sci-fi adventure based on the stories of legendary writer Philip Jose Farmer. So here I have Riverworld. Okay, so this is the film that I forgot to put money into. I meant to, but I've been trying to collect every single film that Christopher Mim does, because he is a phenomenal filmmaker. The Phantom Lake Kids in The Unseen Invasion. You can't see them, you can't stop them. Could this be the end? Stuck in their house during a government-mandated worldwide quarantine, the Phantom Kids, Danny Johnson, his sisters Alice and Evelyn, and their wacky friends Butch, Chip, and Billy Blue, are shocked when most of the gang inexplicably disappears in a flash of light. then reappears moments later. When Alice doesn't return, the rest must meticulously and hilariously unravel the mystery behind her disappearance and the invisible forces behind it. Could it be aliens? So here I have the Phantom Lake Kids in the Unseen Invasion. Next I have, and actually this one was very cute, Terra Willy Unexplored Planet. It's hard to see the director, but it looks like it's Back Films International. This was definitely put out by Viva Entertainment, but here's the synopsis. During an intergalactic mission, young Willie gets separated from his parents and crash lands on an unexplored planet. Accompanied by a helpful robot and an extraterrestrial creature, Willie sets off on an adventure that's out of this world. So here we have Terra Willy, Unexplored Planet. Next, I have Amityville Mount Misery Road. This is produced and directed by Chuck Maronghielo and Carolina Maronghielo. It was an ITN distributed film. Charlie and Boozy are ghost enthusiasts, fascinated by the legend of the scariest road in America, Mount Misery Road. The couple continues their adventure into the nearby woods, only to discover they have trapped themselves in a whirlpool of paranormal activities. Next, I have Magnolia, and it had to be frogs. Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and with 3 Academy Award nominations, including the 1999 Golden Bear Award, Toronto Film Critics Award, National Board of the Review Awards, Chicago Film Critic Award, Supporting Actor Tom Cruise, and Florida Film Critics Circle Awards for Best Picture of '99 and Best Ensemble Cast on over 80 top 10 lists for 1999. Next, I have Amelie, which is another New Line home video, 2-disc release. This was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. And it is billed as a comedy. It is a Miramax film. And I'm trying to see who the director of this was. Jean-Pierre Jeunet, or Jeunet. This is a French film. It is, and does have subtitles. Next, I picked up The Singing Detective from BBC, even though I know this is a movie as well. I'd never seen this. This is Dennis Potter's legendary award-winning masterpiece. It's all this and more. It's the story of Philip Marlowe, a mystery writer stricken with a crippling skin disorder, whose hallucinations interweave memories of his past with the murder mystery in his book, The Singing Detective, the story of a suave sleuth who croons with a big band when he's not cracking cases. Hailed by critics and audiences as one of the greatest television productions of all time, this collector's edition DVD set of The Singing Detective has been restored to its original brilliance and features insightful bonus features that give viewers a rare glimpse into the brilliant mind of Dennis Potter. Starring Michael Gambon, Janet Suzman, and Joanne Whaley. Written by Dennis Potter, produced by John Harris and Kenneth Trod, and it's directed by John Amiel. So here I have The Singing Detective. And I thought it was kind of interesting. I think I'll put this episodal thing. And it's a 6-episode thing. So I thought that was unique. I'm going to stick that in there. And then stick this here. Next, I have a film called The Bay of Silence. From the producer of All the Money in the World. Starring Claes Bang, Olga Kurgilenko, and Brian Cox. It is directed by Paula van der Dest. Put out by Vertical Entertainment, Media Finance Capital and International Film Trust, Imperative Entertainment, and Vigilantes Entertainment. A TBOS film, Levitate Film, and So What Pictures. Some Secrets Echo Forever. Will, played by Claes Bang, sets out to discover the truth behind his son's mysterious death in a bid to protect his mentally vulnerable wife, Olga Kuryalenka, and only to discover an unsolved crime that threatens both their lives. Here I have The Bay of Silence. Next I have Everfall, another Dollar Tree pickup. It's put out by Echo Bridge Entertainment. It's directed by John Kissack, working with SP Releasing and Green Productions, Inc., in association with Sekhmet Studios. Is Everfall. A year after an unfortunate accident, Ava, played by Jessica McLeod, has a disappointing tryout at a big figure skating competition. Her coach invites her to compete in a mysterious competition in the small town of Everfall to work on her skills. Ava brings along her boyfriend, Daniel, Joe Perry, an extreme sports YouTube star, and his cameraman, Jordan, to document Eva's last chance at resurrecting her skating career. Once in Everfall, though, a series of horrifying events unfold, forcing them to face things more terrible than they could imagine. So here I have Everfall. Next, I have another Dollar Tree pickup. This seems to have a couple of laurels, as you can see at the top. This is a film directed by Gabriel Mayonetti, and this is a superhero like no other. The film is called They Call Me Jig. This was put out by Uncorked Entertainment. Italy finally gets its own superhero, and the results are surprisingly gritty and thoroughly enjoyable. Enzo, an ex-con from the poor outskirts of Rome, puts his newfound superpowers to use, furthering his career as a delinquent, a fact which makes the local crime bosses far from happy. When he falls in love with Alasia, an unstoppable girl who brightens her dark world with elements from a Japanese anime, Jig, Enzo learns the value of helping others. But what price must he pay to become a hero? Here I have They Call Me Jig. Next I have Kingdom of Swords, Rise to Rule. It's directed by Taras Kimmick. Deep in the Middle Ages, in the time of the Crusades, where heroes and villains battle for control, a young prince unites a nation, avenges the murder of his father, and becomes king. Here I have Kingdom of Swords. Next I have Hacker, another Dollar Tree pickup. Directed by Akin Sateyev. This was a Sony Pictures. This was inspired by true events. Alex, an immigrant from Ukraine, comes to Canada and becomes involved with an online criminal organization called Dark Web. He learns to rip off credit cards and ATMs and break into banks, and eventually the stock market. He engages a network of service staff to help collect information, and partners with Sai and Kira to sell the merchandise. When his mother is fired from her job at the bank, what had started off as a way for Alex to help his parents financially soon becomes a personal vendetta against the entire banking system. Next, I have a film called The Answer. It appears to be directed by Ayobel Ahmed. Schooled Media is the production company. Seems to have won a couple of laurels. Schoolfield Media. Yep. Put out by High Octane Pictures. Brid lives a mundane life by choice. He prefers it under the radar with little excitement. That quickly changes when a mysterious package from his deceased mother arrives, containing a futuristic device and a cryptic note promising to explain everything. That night, the young introvert returns home to find it ransacked and his boss dead on the floor. Framed for murder with nowhere to run, Brid and his co-worker Charlotte follow the trail left by his dead parents. As each impossible clue along the journey is unraveled, Brid learns the answer to the shocking truth about who he is and why he's so special. So here is The Answer. Next I have another Jackie Chan a film called Bleeding Steel. This film is directed by Liu Zhang. It's a Lionsgate premiere Grindstone Entertainment Group. Unravel the past, defend the future. Gonna check that out eventually. Next I have a film called Wrecker, starring Anna Hutchinson and Drea Whitburn. From the producer of American Mary, with a tagline of "You Stop, You Die." It's a film directed by Michael Buffero, put out by Accelerator and Industry Works Pictures. Industry Works Studios production. Wrecker. Best friends Emily and Leslie go on a trip to the desert. When Emily decides to get off the highway and take a shortcut, they become the target of a relentless psychotic trucker who forces them to play a deadly game of cat and mouse. Homage to road classics like Duel and Maximum Overdrive, Wrecker is a heart-pumping thrill ride that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Next, I have Joe Estevez and Matt McCoy in a film called The Redeemed. This is a Blu-ray DVD combo. It is put out by Echo Bridge Entertainment and directed by Vin Moriel. Mob boss Whitey, played by Joe Estevez, brother Max, wants to return from exile to make peace with his family before he dies from a terminal illness, but Whitey is going to make him pay. It all goes back to an incident decades earlier where Max and his business partner borrowed money from Whitey and couldn't pay it back, leading to an explosive blowout that set the stage for decades of misery for all of the men. They are both looking for redemption, but it is unsure which of them will find it. So here I have The Redeemed. And last but not least, at least in this particular stack fold, I'm going to show you a film called Only. It stars Frida Pinto, Leslie Odom Jr. It does have a Tribeca Film Festival laurel on it. It was put out by Vertical Films. It is written and directed by Takashi Dosser and Tadmor Astrakhan. Eva might be the only woman left on Earth. After a mysterious plague threatens to kill all females on the planet, the lies and relationship of Eva and Will are put to the ultimate test as they try to survive the disease and the dangerous people hunting her down. Only. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this. I just enjoy sharing what I pick up and seeing what you all out there might have in your collection. Oftentimes, my pickups are different. At least I think, because it's literally filled with everything, even the artistic bullshit. So, thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Thank you for watching, and I'll definitely have some more cool stuff on my next video. So, check us out, like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?